Hey guys, welcome to a new video. We're gonna unbox Guild 15. Let's see what's in it. So first of all, we have 3 Guild exclusives, our Eureka series. We have tried something new. So usually when we brew a beer, it's either a stout or a barley wine. We do a double mash. So we mash in 2 times to have 1 kettle, and that goes to the fermenter. We tried something new. We did a triple mash. So we used 1/3 more grains, meaning that if you pour it like this, it's gonna give this amazing cascading effect, which is due to the sheer amount of grains that is in the beer. To balance out those grains, we actually used a ton of hops here as well. If I remember correctly, it's Eclipse. So you get a little bit of that orange rind, a little bit of pithiness, just to balance out the sweetness that the extra grains give. We did the same process to an Imperial Stout. Recipe is modeled after a little bit like motor oil, but different. More hops as well, because you need to balance that extra roastiness, that extra sweetness that you have. Third, just gonna grab another glass. We have the wet hop beer. First time ever we did a wet hop beer. It's a cranked juice base, but then we got hops from Slovenia, fresh from the field. The hop we are talking about is Styrian Cardinal. They say it's the new Citra from Slovenia. Oh, there's even a little bit of hop still in there. So what do you expect from a wet hop beer? As they come straight from the field and nothing has been done to them, you are actually throwing full cones into your fermenter. You get some greenness, slight astringency, but this beautiful watermelon, cucumbery aroma. Fun to know is that these hops went from field to the fermenter in 22 hours. So there was a cold stored truck coming directly from Slovenia here. It was a late night, but completely worth it, I think. So, just wanted to talk about the Eureka series real quick. It's we use it as a playground for the brewers to try new things. So we did 2 times the triple mash and a wet hop, things we never did before. I hope you enjoy it. At least the brewers did. It was quite fun to brew. Cheers. Yeah, so for the first time we brewed a herfstbock. So there's a little bit of a story here. We brewed a springbock in spring, and the reactions from bars were so amazing that everyone kept asking for our herfstbock. So we decided to brew one with a Moersleutel twist, of course. We brewed it with maple syrup and chocolate, a lot of grains. It's quite thick actually for a bock, so we really gave it like the Moersleutel twist. In the cans, there can be a little bit of sediment. We used a lot of chocolate and a lot of maple, and it tends to settle out a little bit on the bottom. So pour carefully, maybe leave the last bit in the can, and then it's an amazing clear beer. If you pour the last bit, it might be a little bit muddy, so just keep that in mind. So in the beer industry, we make a lot of friends. This box contains another 2 collabs. First, we teamed up with Vault City from Scotland. We made a peanut butter coconut stout. Then we teamed up with a yeast lab, White Labs. They are based in Copenhagen, and they helped us to brew our very first 15% ABV stout, just straight from the fermenter. We used a very specific yeast for this. It's a Kveik strain from Norway. These strains tend to be very hardy, and you can just keep on feeding them sugar, meaning that the alcohol will rise. So this is our first beer with that amount of alcohol, just straight from fermentation. We complemented the beer. It was, as you can imagine, 15% is quite a bit. So the beer was quite, let's say, alcoholic. We used some coffee and chocolate, make it more round, some vanilla to give a little bit more sweetness. Curious to see what you think. It's a big boy. It's also a very heavy can. Cosmic Wonderbird, our collaboration with Vault City. We used peanuts, coconut, flakes. The whole BMT, the big muffin tub, was full of adjuncts. It's a big boy. It's a Moersleutel pastry stout. Cheers. Next beer. It's Lucky Tonka S'mores. It's a bit of a reference to the autumn coming in. Sitting around a campfire, making s'mores on the campfire. So there's marshmallow, chocolate, biscuity. There we go. Together with Tonka, it really pushes like a light hint of smoke. Some cinnamon. A lot of vanilla. Nice. Yeah, there probably will be a next Lucky Tonka in the Advent as well. So keep your eyes out for that. No, Michiel's also here. How are you doing, Michiel?
Pretty good. I came to chuck an IPA. Okay, next up is our fietsreparatiesetje.
Fiets?
Reparatiesetje. It's a fietsreparatiesetje. It means bicycle tire repair kit for when you have a flat tire. Well, you can repair your bicycle. In our case, it's a quadruple IPA.
The first ever quadruple IPA from Moersleutel.
Something we've been wanting to do for a long time, because we think they can be amazing. High alcohol, lots of hops, so a lot to like. So,
roasting flavors.
Which hops did we use in this one?
I think we used Idaho 7 in the whirlpool. A lot of survivables for that hop, so it will survive the process. We used Pink Boots blends 2022 to support our female co-workers in the industry. And next to that we used Galaxy. A lot of Galaxy actually in this beer.
Yeah.
So can you please pronounce this name once more?
Fietsreparatiesetje.
It's a fietsreparatiesetje.
That it is. It has a great aroma and a huge body. The alcohol is there, but it completes the beer in a really beautiful way.
Are you ready for the next beer, Miguel?
See?
It's another one in our Could You Pass Me the... It's an Aardappelstamper.
Aardappelstamper.
For the stampot season.
Stampot is mashed potatoes with vegetables.
And that's not in this beer. Aardappel is potato. Stamper. Stamper. Masher. Thank you, Roberto. Oh, there was some real nice sound for the...
So we go from the quadruple IPA to a normal ABV beer.
Do you get the zesty clementine?
I do, actually.
Do you get
very nice, very
the
fresh.
Tropical overripe passion fruit?
There's definitely passion fruit. Very drinkable, but still super full flavored.
What was the ABV on this again? 6. It's pretty big for 6.
Yeah.
6% alcohol. Looks pretty good as well. Like slight haze.
Beautiful color.
Beautiful color.
Amazing. I like how it's a bit drying in the finish. Makes you want to keep drinking it.
Yeah. You want to talk about the hops?
Yes, I want to talk about the hops.
Eclipse. Do you remember Eclipse?
Nope.
That's the zesty clementine.
Right.
And HBC 630. That's like an experimental hop from Yakima. Gives more of the tropical fruit. It's like a mix between Citra and Mosaic, but then on steroids. So you would almost say like Galaxy 2, something like that.
Cool. So Eclipse, Clementine, HBC 630, 630, passion fruit, tropical fruits.
Yeah. And a bit of Azaka as a background. So that's just ripe fruit, just to push the other flavors forward. Cool. Hello, Tim.
Hey.
I brought Tim. Tim, how are you doing today?
I'm doing pretty alright. Looking forward to tasting some beers.
What were you doing there?
Brewing, fixing stuff, making barrel-aged beers.
Beers out of the barrel or into the barrel?
No, making beers to go into the barrels in a few months. So
that's for like over a year, then we can taste them.
Yeah, year and a half, something like that. Yep. Should be good fun.
Is it something like this?
No, this is very different. So this is Slippery Slope, an oatmeal stout. I think we used 50% oats in this.
Way too much.
Way too much. Oats, notoriously difficult to brew with, but the mouthfeel you get from oats is really awesome. Very silky, very smooth. And then in this beer, we used Cascade, I think, right?
Yeah,
Cascade hops.
Just hot side, no dry hops.
Yeah, to really push like a woody, piney note. Ooh.
You get that one though.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
So a little bit of the we use the Irish ale yeast. It's there's like a berry ester.
Oh yeah. Yeah, you can definitely taste like the oat, very silky on the tongue. That bitterness from the hops definitely comes through, and the roasty malt we use as well.
Slightly bitter.
Slightly on the bitter side, but that Irish yeast really pushes that like slight fruity note to complement the silky smoothness of the oat.
So did we only use like one oat product, or was it a combination of multiple?
I don't think we ever use one of something.
I'm so sorry.
No, no. I think we used golden naked oats, flaked oats, torrefied oats, some other oats, oat malt. The malt bitterness combined with the Cascade bitterness really might into an awesome beer for me.
You want to have another one?
I thought you'd never ask. Let's start with this one. One of our variants.
Variants of what?
Of fruit bomb. Of our
bomb.
famous fruit bomb. Yeah. Oh, it's been so much fun working with different strains of yeast, different like slight adaptations to our brewing process. And this is one example. So this is our Biotransformed Thiolized fruit bomb.
Oh yeah, all the complicated terms come out of the closet here.
Yeah. Yeah, so lots of mash hops that have bound thiols, and then we use a yeast that frees up those thiols for you to be able to like taste them and smell them.
Yeah. And just to even do it more, because you can only get so much out of the mash before it starts to get very bitter, because you still get alpha acids, isoalpha acids from the hops. We used a new hop product that was given to us by Yakima Chief.
Yeah.
YCH303 it's called. It's a combination of 3 cryo hops with phantasm powder. Do you know what phantasm powder is?
I do know, but I did have to learn it from you when we were brewing with it. It smells awesome, but basically
I didn't
it's
brew with it. You brewed with it.
Yeah. No, it's from my understanding, it's a New Zealand type of process where they get the grapes that they use for winemaking, and they dry them out.
The skins. Only the skins.
The skins. They dry them out. They grind them up, and then with a process, put them into the hop pellets. And then later on, those grape skins are filled with bound thiols. So the yeast that we use for this beer brings forward those cuts the thiols. Oh
yeah, passion fruit.
Yeah.
Passion fruit.
Oh, absolutely.
Big Sauvignon Blanc again. It's just amazing what a yeast can do with bound thiols.
Yeah, even just smelling the hops, it was actually quite noticeable. But then after fermentation, when the yeast did its thing on those bound thiols, you can really smell the grapiness, slightly passion fruit forward. The flavors that we actually get from the yeast are very much pronounced. And that's what we went for with this, like fully transform the whole thing.
Yeah.
Really good. Well, I think we have one more left, right?
Uno más? Yeah, and then we can
for us.
And then we can yell at Michiel if he wants to tell something about the barrel aged beers.
Yes.
Because marketing always tells us to leave the barrel aged beers for last.
They are masterpieces, to be fair.
Yes. And we jibber jabber a lot, so Charlotte. Oh, Sabro times 7. There we go.
Yes. Part of our famous series. Yes. 7 times we use a hop within the process. So either during the mash, different stages during the boil, after the boil, different dry hopping stages, whatever you can think of. Oh.
Woo! Happy to see you.
Woo! this hop is unlike anything I've ever worked with.
Yes. It's so distinct.
Yeah. You can pick it out of a lineup every single time.
It's just this, and you can already smell like.
Yes.
What do you smell with Sabro, Tim?
Well, it's slightly citrusy, and then coconut. Yes. It is such an interesting flavor to get from hops. You don't get it very often.
It's very tricky to work with, though, because coconut goes to dill at some point.
Yeah,
dill,
it can be
salmon
a bit too much.
dill. Yeah, if you overdo it, and I'm so happy we kept an eye on it, kept a nose in it.
Oh yeah, no, absolutely. We slowly added a bit more, pushing it forward, getting it to the right spot, and now it just reminds you of like a tropical beach, kicking up your feet, like feet in the sand, and just drinking an awesome beer. The color is awesome as well. Look how clear that is.
She sees we are jabbering now. Okay,
Awesome.
Miguelo! Wil je glazen meenemen? Het is een van de beste cans die ik heb gehad eigenlijk.
Van Sabro? Of?
Ja.
Nee, uit de tank was hij echt fucking dope. En nu een blik. Elke keer als ik hem heb, dan je opent de blik, komt zo'n aroma naar voren. Echt fantastisch.
Fantastisch.
Mag ik ze nu openmaken? Ja?
Een fles openen?
Nee hoor.
Nee, we gaan... Zover zijn we nog niet. Ik wil het eerst hier even over hebben. Want het is weer tijd voor een barcode.
Zie je het Engels doen?
Kut.
Ja.
I mean, yeah. Of course. It's time for a new barcode. We had some amazing barrels just waiting to get out. They were Blanton bourbon barrels. Now, Blanton's is a premium brand of Buffalo Trace. So one of the more expensive bourbons that they have. The rest of the blend is made of bourbon Bell mead. So it's an all bourbon blend this time. Half of them are Blantons and half of them are Bell meads. That's very rare to get here. So I haven't been able to find a bottle. I've looked for it. At least the barrels, they worked very well. This bourbon blend had a lot of vanilla notes, chocolate notes. It's nice and boozy. So we decided to add on to that with some actual vanilla and some actual chocolate. And that turned out very well.
It did. Do you remember where the chocolate came from?
I do not.
I think it was from Tanzania. The milky chocolate.
And if you watched our last video about chocolate, you would know everything about it.
It was actually a cool interview. And we had a masterclass from Mark as well later on with the whole team. It was a lot of fun to actually learn about his process and trying to incorporate more of his understanding of chocolate into what we do here to combine it with the beers. Hopefully somewhere next year, maybe in the Guild Books of April or maybe a bit later, we'll be getting some results from that. I'm looking forward to it.
We're going to see results of it in the Advent.
Of course.
You know. Now he's going to roast some cacao for us, custom blend, right?
We're getting custom cacao roasted, especially for Moersleutel.
That's exciting, right? Getting so many awesome ingredients and have the people who dedicate their craft to it actually come here and work with us. That's awesome.
Yes, we're a bunch of lucky brewers here. So that's the barcode.
You want to open the other one?
Yes. We have the Indulgence. Indulgence 15 is made out of Glenrothes ex-sherry barrels. That is a Speyside Scotch whiskey.
Yeah, wow, love it.
That's about 90% of this blend. And we supplemented it with just one barrel of Muscatel dessert wine.
Ooh, to bring out some of the fruitiness?
Exactly. To enhance the fruitiness of the ex-sherry whiskey barrels. So that one Muscatel barrel that was here for 22 months. It was at one point our oldest barrel that we had. And it was I was just holding on to it for a very special occasion. And this is it. Guild 15.
Oh, I'm so excited to have a taste. Scottish whiskey.
Are you also excited?
I'm always excited to taste your barrels, Michiel.
Proost.
Proost.
Woo! Woo-hoo!
Do you see what I mean with the fruity,
Oh, absolutely.
fruity notes?
Usually,
Very high though. Very high fruity notes.
Yes.
oh yeah. Usually Scottish barrels that we use are like very punchy in their like alcoholic aroma and their body, and then one barrel of Muscatel just really brings the fruity forward.
Yeah, in the aroma, it's more red fruit vibe. You don't really get the white grapes, that floral that the Muscatel originally has. So that's also because we made it with a stout. And in the flavor, the Muscatel comes out more, but it's still a bit red fruit dominant.
It really evolves in your mouth as well. Initially, you have that initial like red fruit spike, and then the stout slowly takes over, and then in the end, you really get that Scottish whiskey vibe, that like, burning sensation.
Yeah.
There's also some acidity, isn't there?
Yes.
A little bit of acidity, sweetness, but it's quite balanced. Bitterness is very low. Tannins is there though. There's it builds structure. Yep. It's like it comes in waves. So that's probably from the tannins from the wood, I guess.
Yes, these Muscatel barrels, they're from Portugal, and they're made with a different kind of wood. We usually use American oak, and most of the Scotch whiskey, like Speyside whiskies, they usually like to use bourbon barrels. It's also American oak, but this Muscatel is made of French oak.
Yeah,
So
very fresh, high tannin.
high tannins,
Yeah.
exactly. Yeah, that makes it drying in
Yeah.
the finish.
Which works quite well in the Muscatel wines. You get a lot of that back in this blend as well. It works really well though. It's not too overpowering. It's quite smooth, balanced, and quite drinkable even for our barrel aged stouts.
Yep.
Yeah.
Cool. Somehow it's the forest fruit goes really well with the light oxidation note from the Scotch barrels.
Yes.
Yeah. Makes it fresher.
Hope you guys all enjoy this one.
So the next of these bottles, where's Indulgence 16 gonna be at?
That's going to be a very special one. I know I say this every time, but
Very special boy.
but
But this one, he really means it.
I really mean it. I always do. This one is for the Advent. The Advent calendar is coming up. Those are coming to people in November, so they can start in December and open a beer every day, as you should.
As you should. Yeah. So that's about what we wanted to say, right?
Yeah, we're gonna take them on a journey
Oh
next month. We made 24 Moersleutel beers included in the Advent box, and every day we're gonna open one of them together. We made a lot of special ones, especially for the Advent, and I think we're all looking very much forward to getting through that thing together.
I'm gonna say see you next time. En proost sleutelaars.
Proost.
Proost.
Kun je nog één keer herhalen?
De volgende box na de Advent is in februari.
Charlotte is heel blij met ons nu.
Mag ik ze nu openmaken? Ja?